Hey, what's up guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm finally going to be showing my Fortnite controller settings as well as my controller binds. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I haven't made a video on my controller binds in about a year now, and so many people have been asking me lately, especially after my recent 60 ping king montage. So here we are. But just before the video starts, if you could drop a like, that'd be awesome. Let's try and aim for 3 likes. As well as if you do go on to enjoy the content, definitely consider subscribing as I'm on the road to 1 million subscribers this year. You can also support me that little bit more by using code FLEA in the item shop. But what I'm actually going to do is show you some raw clips from my 60 ping king and my unique montage. Then I'm going to get into the settings. So enjoy the clips. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed those clips from my recent montages. Now I'm just going to quickly go over my settings, then get into the controller binds. So starting off with the first page of settings, nothing special here. It does say I play on 60 FPS, but as you can see, I play on 237 FPS. It just says 60 because I capped them in the game files. And scrolling down here, I play everything on low, and yeah, that's about it for the first screen. Over to the next one. Now, first thing you can obviously see on this screen is my 53 ping. Just in case you're new to the channel and wonder why I play on high ping, ping, it's because the servers are on the other side of the country from me. I actually do have really good internet, especially for Australian standards. It's just unfortunate where I live. And scrolling down here, so I'm only going to go over the important settings. So sprint by default on, that is a 100% must. I can't actually stress how important it is to have that setting on. It actually frees up the L3 bind, and L3 is one of my most important buttons on my controller. I'll show you in just a second. Auto open doors is just a preference. It's more so a creative thing. If you do fail an edit, it will open a door automatically, although I don't really recommend it if you do play a lot of pubs. Guys, I apologize, okay? I always have my webcam in the way when I do settings videos. I'm sorry, I fixed it, let's go. Over to the next tab. Now these are just all my HUD settings. I do actually change a lot of these settings all the time, depending whether I'm making a montage, whether I'm doing 1v1s or whether I'm just playing pubs. I do change these settings a lot, but yeah, let's move on to the next screen. That's all mouse settings, and here we have the controller settings. Now, first off, I just wanna say, if I had to make a settings video every time I change my settings, I'd literally have to make daily settings videos. I change my settings almost every single day. You guys also know that I do make a lot of videos trying other people's settings, so there's just a million reasons why I change my settings all the time, but these are kind of the settings that I did use on both my montages. So 1.8 build and edit with a 75% on both sensitivities. These are kind of creative warrior settings, so don't expect to have like good aim when you're using these settings. Plus, I've been playing a really long time, so I'm kind of used to having a high sensitivity. Scrolling down here, I got no boost, no boost, no boost ramp time, no boost, and no boost ramp time as well, no look dampening, and linear. Having no boost on any of your sensitivities is definitely the meta lately. If you have watched Phase Sway settings videos, he also uses no boost settings just like me. Scrolling down, we got aim assist on 100%. Now dead zones, this is where it gets important. My move stick dead zone, which is my left stick, it's actually on 10%. You definitely don't need this on anything lower than 10%. It's only your movement stick, so just have it as low as you can without getting stick drift. As you can see, if I just move my webcam out the way, you can actually see my left stick is, the yellow part is jittering, which means I have stick drift at that low dead zone. So as long as the blue circle is always above that yellow circle, you should be fine. And moving on to the right stick, now as you can see, the yellow circle on the right stick is a lot smaller than the left stick, which means I can actually play at a lot lower dead zone, so I play at the lowest 5%. I highly recommend you play on the lowest dead zone on your right stick. Even if you do get a tiny bit of stick drift, it shouldn't affect your gameplay too much. And moving into sound settings, nothing special here. Moving over to the controller binds. Now starting with combat controls, as you can see, I have the defaults on my triggers and bumpers. Toggle pickaxe is default, reload is default. Now crouch is circle. I'll tell you why crouch is circle in just a second. Jump is the default, which is X. Now as you can see, I have nothing bound to R3, and this is really important. Let me just grab the hand cam real quick and I'll show you why. Alright, so as you can see, the hand cam is set up. Now the reason I don't have anything bound to R3 is that when I'm playing, I actually have a really flicky playstyle, and because I flick and like move my analog stick so much, like I'm almost like shaking my thumb, it actually pushes in R3 accidentally. I get so many questions of like, Flea, how do you do those like really fast, like shaky edits? And that's purely because I don't have anything bound to R3, so I can actually shake like my entire hand, and sometimes it does push down R3, especially when I'm editing. So just then I actually felt me press R3 probably about like 10 times in that one free build, and that's purely because I just have such a rough hand when I'm playing, and I was accidentally pressing R3 so much that I ended up just binding nothing to it. Especially when building, the default bind for R3 is actually rotate. The amount of times that I accidentally rotate while building, so my new rotate bind is actually right on the D-pad, because if you didn't know, all builds actually rotate around clockwise to the right, so having it on right D-pad kind of just made sense. Anyway, back to the settings. So my edit button, as most of you know, is touchpad. Looking at the hand cam, you can clearly see where my edit is. It's actually dented into the controller. So I do play left hand claw. You can actually press the touchpad up here, but I just like to press it down here. Now all the D-pad buttons are just really personal preference, but now we get onto switch mode as L3. Now this is so important. Now the reason L3 is such a good switch mode button is, as you can see, my thumb is always on L3 when when I'm building, so it's so easy for me to switch mode without ever having to take my fingers off anything when I'm building, when I'm editing, or doing anything. My thumb is always gonna be on L3, which means I can switch mode whenever I want, and it allows for such a smooth gameplay. Once you become good with L3 switch mode, you can literally switch mode whenever you want. I'm not gonna lie, it did take me a little bit to get used to, especially swapping from circle, but trust me, if you do want a really good switch mode bind, L3 is the way to go. L3 and touchpad are some of the best buttons on the controller, so try and bind your most important binds to it. So for me, that's switch mode and edit. Now moving on to build controls, so all the building pieces are default. Everything kind of looks pretty normal here, except I got rotate right on the D-pad and change the material as down. And moving on to edit binds, so edit binds is also really important. Now there's literally so many different types of edit binds, there's definitely not one right or wrong way to use edit binds, but I recommend binding as much edit binds as you can to your bumpers and triggers. So if I just move my webcam once again, as you can see, I have L1 as reset, R2 as confirm, and R1 as select. Also, a little secret I'll give you guys about edit binds is try and unbound everything. So as you can see, I don't have like map bound, I don't have like rotate piece bound, I don't have crouch bound. You just want to unbind everything when you're editing. This will just ensure that you don't accidentally pull out your map or your inventory while you're editing. The only things I actually have bind are jump and toggle pickaxe. And yeah, I think that is going to be it. We went build, edit, and dead zones. I already showed you dead zones. That is going to be about it for all my controller binds. If you did go on to enjoy this video or it helped you in any way, a like is definitely appreciated, and leave a red heart in the comments if you did make it to the end of the video. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.